welcome. Hello, I'm Erlinda Patterson. Essence Table Talk. This is your television program. We are so happy that you're with us today. We have a wonderful program and a wonderful guest. And I'm not going to tell you about our co-hosts here today, but they're going to share a little bit of information about themselves. Immediately here to my left, we have the beautiful Kimberly.
Hi, Kimberly Anthony, and I'm so glad to be here. Glad to be back. I was gone for a while, but I'm so glad to be back.
Yes. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I'm a registered nurse. I've been one for quite a long time. I work for the state and retired from the state and an Army Nurse Corps.
Yes, and you still teach.
And I teach. I teach nursing on the side, and I enjoy it. I enjoy the students. I enjoy teaching. I enjoy learning myself. I learn more from them than they realize.
Great. And right over here, we have the beautiful
Thank you.
Chevelle.
Hello, Chevelle McKenzie, and I'm so blessed to be here with you all today. Just as Kimberly said, I have been missing in action for a minute, but I am back. I'm stronger and better than I ever was before.
Yes.
And so it's just so good to be here with everybody. I am a mental health specialist, and I work in that field, and I love to educate people on how to deal with those who are struggling with mental health, who are dealing with family members who have mental health. My background is forensic psychology, and I'm just blessed to be here today, working with sitting alongside these beautiful ladies today.
Well, thank you. It's wonderful to have you back. I missed you.
Thank
and
you.
I missed you, Kimberly,
Missed
as
you
well.
all.
And we have a beautiful lady here sitting right next to us, and her name is Regina Carter. Welcome.
Thank you very
Welcome.
much for having me. Yes.
Thank you. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am a retiree of Los Angeles County Public Health Department, Nursing Administration. I was a secretary to the Assistant Nursing Director. And now that I'm retired, I'm a lifelong learner. And I volunteer at church at Greater Faith Grace Bible Church. And I do a lot of reading and research on ancient Bible studies.
Oh, yes.
And I enjoy
That's
that very
good.
much.
Yes.
I do a lot of reading and studying on history, American history in particular, African American history, European history, because I believe that knowing that connects the dots and gives us an understanding of what's going on today. Even.
That's good.
Absolutely. That's phenomenal. We have three phenomenal women here who are going to provide a wonderful program. Thank you for all of us being here together.
Of course.
It's really great to be together again.
Absolutely.
Yes. And we're going to bring up the first subject. Regina, you asked me what we were going to talk about. And one of the things that's really always in the forefront in the Sun newspaper here in the San Bernardino County is fentanyl overdose. It's high.
Yeah. It is.
The statistics are high. Just next door, I lost a young man, a little neighbor, 24 years old. And then just a couple of days later, we lost another young man. And if you saw the newspaper today, for some reason, if you read it, you would see that there was a 15-year-old boy.
Oh, wow.
So what is your opinion? First, let's start with you. What is your opinion?
Well, for me, seeing kids, who are my kids' age and younger, running around, taking drugs, using drugs, is shocking. But it's not something that hasn't happened before.
Right.
But the fact that this drug is one that has touched so many people, and instantly, it can change your whole life. We've had marijuana, we've had all these other different drugs, cocaine, methamphetamine, LSD, but then fentanyl creeps in. And when it came in, I am actually, I have lost a family member recently. And we had his funeral. I think we just came upon his second year of being gone. He was 24, a father to a little boy, and you know, just thinking he's taking something that's you know
Gonna
just
get
to
high.
get high and calm his nerves and everything, and family members were around and no one knew that he had you know, they just thought he was going to sleep.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it has touched home for me. I remember when my husband got the call to get to the hospital and to see my family go through something like this.
Right,
You know, we're
right.
all oblivious to it until it hits
Until it
home.
happens to you.
Yeah.
Right.
When it
That's-
happens home, it hits
Yes.
home. Then we're like, wait a minute. What can we do? How can we help stop this? How can we help the next person, the next young person, the next adult that's going through this? We all want to help, but unless there are, you know, laws in place and unless these people want to realize for themselves, they start realizing this is nothing to be playing around with.
Right.
Now, Regina, tell me, what is your opinion about this fentanyl issue?
My thoughts are the whys. Why the young people want to take drugs, what's going on in their lives. Now, you know, as being adults, we can, I think, understand some of it because young people today are presented with so much. You know, the technology that's out there. When we grew up, a lot of things were hidden. They're not hidden anymore. And now they're being pushed in situations where they're forced to make decisions that they're not ready to make yet. You know,
Adult
and the
decisions.
adult decisions and the influences of their friends, I think impacts their lives. You know, and another thing too, I was watching a program the other day, and the person was talking about, well, when we grew up, there was peace. The young people don't have that kind of peace nowadays, where their minds could get quiet.
Right. They have to make all these decisions quickly.
Yes.
School, as soon as they graduate, now they have to think about college.
Yes.
And then they have to think about getting a job. So,
Yes.
yes, they don't have
Yes.
a lot
Not
of
only
peace.
that, but you turn the television on, and there's 1,000 channels on there about every subject there is. Or you go on the computer, and the games that are there. Oh, they're
They have
ugly.
TikTok, Instagram, so many other social media devices.
Not only that, but you have games where they're pow-pow.
Oh, yeah.
and beating each other
Violent
up.
games,
You know.
yes. And they play them well.
And they pay them well, and they're number one on the game. Now, that is something to think about. Now, you tell me, Kimberly, what's your opinion?
My opinion on it, I think it's terrible. But I don't, like you said, we don't know what the kids are thinking about. We don't know what's in their head. But there's a lot of things going on in the background that we don't know because they're not sharing. And they're not going to share. You know, sometimes they share with each other, but they don't share with us. And fentanyl used to be just a pain medication that you put in your back. Remember that? As nurses, you know, so all of a sudden now they're using it to get high off of. And so I do have Narcan in my car. I keep it in my car. I took a class, so I keep it in my car. And I really think it's important that the schools kind of touch on it with their teachers so that they can see some of the signs and symptoms just in case. And just in case one of them, you know, do approach them and ask questions, so they're aware and educated on fentanyl and the signs and symptoms of what can happen. So.
Yeah, my son actually, you know, he does television production, editing and such, but he also does big concerts where he will DJ. But he says, Mom, he says, the first thing I put in there is my Narcan.
Yes.
He says, because I know somebody out there is going to need
Right.
it.
That's right.
And he says, it's been used. It's been used.
Well, you know, it has to be, for me, it has to start at home. It has to start at home. You know, the whys. Why is it not started at home? Why aren't parents talking about
Asking
this
the
with
right
their
questions.
children? Remember they did Red Ribbon Week at school when we were in school? You know, we had Say No to Drugs campaigns. You know, we have those now in school because I've taught for over 20 years, and we have those now, but nobody cares anything about it. They need to come up with a new slogan because Say No to Drugs and the Red Ribbon Week is out. They need something that's going to reach this
Something,
generation.
yeah, for them.
And because these kids are doing it, their parents don't know why, church don't know why, the school doesn't know why. But I believe that, we're a nation that has gotten away from talking. Everybody's private now. We're private amongst each other, but we'll tell the whole world on social media.
Right.
And we'll display to the whole world, I'm depressed. I'm going to commit suicide.
Yeah.
But you live in the house with, they get on social media
They do that.
and put it out there.
Right.
But at home,
You haven't told
your mom
parents.
doesn't know you're struggling with
going on.
anything.
No.
They don't know that your friend offered you drugs to help with your depression or your anxiety.
Yeah.
They're texting. Parents are not checking phones. All of this plays into the why.
Well, one of the
starts
things that I recently read about in the paper, in the newspaper, again, I'll restate it, was this little boy named Sammy, who actually on TikTok ordered fentanyl.
Oh my goodness.
And someone dropped it off to his front fence in his yard. He went and got it from the door. Drop off. And
Oh my God.
he went in his room. He hollered at Mom, I'm taking a nap. And she thought he was taking a nap, resting.
Oh my goodness.
And 15 years old, Sammy, and he died.
Like DoorDash or
DoorDash.
Uber or something.
Yeah.
Amazon.
Fentanyl.
Drop
It's that
off.
easy. That simple. Right.
So the mother and a group of people have gotten together, and they have a bill that they're trying to pass called Sammy's Law.
Praise God.
1444. Sammy's Law. So it's parental monitoring on the computer.
Good.
You would put it onto the computer. However, my concern is this. We have confidentiality to a point.
That's right. That's right.
And there's a big issue of, do we want trans and lesbian, respectfully, each person has not always to believe. Well, we're not going to go there because you are First Lady of a
No,
church.
I was just saying you don't have any privacy in my house. I don't
No,
care
no.
about,
Right.
computer
Okay.
privacy is not happening in my house.
Right.
I'm checking your phone, I'm checking your
Right,
computer,
right,
I'm checking everything. I don't need a bill passed for that.
Well, that is parental
There's no privacy.
monitoring.
No.
Correct.
That is monitoring to the max, and it's the way it should be.
Yes.
The way it should be. Back in my day when my son was a little boy, 15 years old, there was no such animal.
Right. Right.
There
But
wasn't a
the
computer.
confidentiality between a counselor and a teacher
yeah.
with the child,
Student,
and that's real. They're not, they have the right not to repeat what
Yeah,
you said.
they do.
They have
Unless-
a right.
Yeah.
I thought
Unless
that they
you
had to.
believe that they're going to endanger themselves
Themselves,
or
right,
someone else. That's the only way that
Right.
we're allowed.
So if the child,
Okay.
is addicted to drugs,
That's
or
a
thinks
harm.
he's depressed, that is a harm. So
If
that's when the
they're
parent
going
needs to be
to.
notified.
if they're going to commit suicide and if they have the means to do it. So they have
They have to say it.
say they
have to
have the
say
means. So you have to ask them,
You can't assume.
how are you going to, have you thought this out? What's your plan?
What are
And
you
if they
going to
give you a
use?
plan, then
Well, doesn't that make you a mandated reporter?
if they say all that, then yes, you are a mandated reporter, but the law
There's
has
still a
us
lot, a lot of
tied
laws
in
with
the
that.
confidentiality. It's so crazy because even in the church,
Right, I was going to say, Lady Chevelle, in your position, people can come to you about anything.
yes,
You cannot repeat
yes,
it.
in the church, I
That's the
have
law.
had so many people come to me.
How are you
with-
involved in the church? Remind us.
So I'm the first lady of St. Timothy Community
is the
Church.
first lady?
So my husband is the pastor, Pastor
Oh.
David McKenzie. He's the
Okay.
senior pastor
Okay.
at St. Timothy. And so also in the church, I'm involved in different ministries, but I'm also a prayer room counselor.
Okay.
And so as a prayer room counselor, people can come to me. Not only am I a prayer room counselor, but I also work in the mental health. So I have a lot of people who come to me and say, you know what, I just want to
open
talk
up.
to you, not as a first lady, not as a Christian. And we would do that with my dad. My dad was a pastor. And so when we wanted to talk to dad, we knew we could talk to dad. But when I needed to talk to Pastor Riley, we said, Dad, I need you to put dad's hat aside. And my dad was good about this.
Right.
I need to talk to the pastor because the pastor's going to have a different take versus dad. Dad is like, what the heck? But the pastor is going to be like, okay, so we need to figure out a solution to this problem. And so in the church, that's how I have to be. I have to help guide them in the right direction. I can't take their hand and force them. I can't tell mom and dad that your child is. I had a kid come to me and say, I want to have a baby. Huh? You know, I'm like, what? I want to have a baby. Yes.
So is that having babies is trending, you know? So that's why I want to have a baby.
I want to have a baby.
right,
And
yeah.
I couldn't divulge this to the parents.
Right, exactly.
But I would want somebody to tell me about it. To me and said it.
And also as a mental health nurse, that's also true. Many patients can come through, but I would tell them, well, you're right. I'm not going to disclose everything, but if I have to, if you cross that line to where I know I have to, you're going to commit harm to you or someone else, I will have to report it. So you have to make that clear.
You have to make it clear.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
I had another kid came to me and said, I'm pregnant, just really quick. And instead of telling on them, I talked to them and said, I'll go with you to tell your
that's
parent.
great. That's great.
Because she was going to go have an abortion and didn't have the means to have an abortion. So she was talking some
Right.
different abortion techniques.
right.
And I said, no,
no.
I said, I'll go with you to talk to your mom. And that was the best
and you let
thing, you
her
know.
handle it.
She was like, okay, you know, she accepted
So what
that.
parents need to do is educate the youngster, the young adult about, and the young kids about the fact that counselors are the ones that you really should open to. You really should. And not only that, but open the doors so that they realize that they have someone they can trust.
Absolutely.
Safe
So there's something going on in the home, obviously, because the child can't, if they need to take fentanyl, a white pill or blue pill, whatever it is, well, we're not going to talk about a blue pill. But, you know, take a pill, you know. Oh, ladies, I know where your mind is.
Blue has a different meaning, right?
Yeah, being a nurse, and we all know about that. Anyway, but you know, we really need, back in the day, and I'll go back to way when I was a kid, we had in junior high, we had home economics. We had workshop, you know, where the kids learn how to fix a car or change a tire.
Right.
Why can't we have a health program that's mandatory where we could toss in
Sex
That's
ed.
true.
the drugs, sex ed, that kind of stuff, you
Life
know.
skills.
Life
Yeah.
skills.
Life skills.
Yeah. We're talking about technical trades and all this to bring them into high school, and that's great and fine because the kids need to support themselves. However, let's talk also about how to live.
Yes. Yes.
You know, and there might be something we
Life
can think
management.
about, you know, in the future.
Yeah,
Well,
life
we have-
management is good.
We have the Mental Behavior Health Ministries Prevention Program, which we have here in the county of San Bernardino, in Inland Empire. Myself and Kimberly are a part of it. We have a expo that's coming up in May 18th.
Okay.
And one of our seminars is titled Kids in Crisis. And so we're inviting the community to come out. It's going to be at the New Hope Family Life Center.
Okay.
And it's on May 18th, and it starts at 10 o'clock from 10 to 2. And we're going to be talking about anxiety and depression for adults, because this is just not a kid's, you know, situation. It's adults also. But if we can address with the adults, the parents, then maybe we can catch the kids. The parents can help.
And
with
also
the
we're
facilitate.
talking about self-care.
Yes.
What you can do for yourself. You
Yes.
know, what
Right.
the children can do for themselves. You know, other than give them another alternative. They need another alternative besides using drugs.
Yes.
You know.
We have
So-
the gentleman with the boxing.
Right, with the boxing. Yeah, Ian Franklin.
Yeah, Darius.
Yeah, well,
Darius.
Darius. It's not Darius, but that might be someone we can contact. and see
Yeah,
what we
yeah,
can do.
and my cousin Paul is was a boxer,
really?
lightweight champion. You know, he might be delighted
That would
too.
be good.
Yeah,
Because these are outlets.
He knows a
These
lot
outlets.
of the boxers, so
Really?
he does a lot of interviews
Well,
with them.
definitely, we need to
Yeah.
get with him to invite
Yeah,
him.
but you know, we there's a lot of things that I wanted to talk about today, but I think we're going to stay on this one for a minute, okay? I believe that Sister Regina, you might have some thoughts that you want to share with us.
Sure. I was thinking about young people need to be taught how did we get here. They need to be taught history. They need to learn about the difference in the generations, what was going on socially, politically, educationally during various times throughout the history of this country and why things became difficult. For instance, they're living in a time where everything goes, all right? But the saying is, just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Absolutely.
Right.
Okay,
That's
so
right.
these are things we need to be able to teach the kids along with everything else. And as everyone was, giving their input, I was also thinking about the Word of God. I was thinking about Jesus saying, if you abide in me and my words abide in you,
Yes.
you shall know the truth, and what will it do? Set you free.
That's right.
Teach them
Okay,
the truth.
and I too am a Christian woman. However, what about the person out there at home that is not a Christian? What would you say to them?
I would plant the seeds.
Okay.
Okay, because God says His word is powerful
That's right.
and sharper than any two. So we have to do this. That's what's missing from our society. Okay, we've gotten away from just speaking the truth. And I'm not saying that it's all the time preaching. Okay, but as believers, you can give God's word out.
It almost seems
Without-
like there's no foundation.
Right.
Yes.
Oh, we've got like 2 generations that have not been given the foundation that
Yeah,
all of us are familiar with.
Right.
Yes.
And they're visual also. So we have
Yes.
to, because they're visual, we have to give them something to look at.
Yes.
You know, something that they can see.
Yes.
I got
Something
some
that
for 'em,
they
but
know.
They call that
you
child
know,
abuse. So.
You call it what now?
I said I got something for them, but they call it child abuse now.
Right. That's true. but that's okay.
But I think the boxing and just being things like that and showing them that there are alternatives to, out there that you can do.
Yeah.
Sports. I think
Yes.
sports is awesome. We're trying to talk to my grandson. Look, sports. If you get into sports and you have a whole team behind you for 4 years in life and not life. So
But you know what, Kimberly and ladies? It doesn't matter how much you keep them involved and engaged in something. The pressure from winning, the stress from not
Right.
winning, making your parents proud
right.
is so overwhelming to these kids. They don't know how to deal with it the way we did. The Bible says they'll become wiser yet weaker.
That's
And
true.
we're seeing it happen every day. We're smarter now
Right.
than we ever were before.
That's right.
But that's
we're
what a good
weak.
coach comes
Mentally.
from. A good youth minister comes
Yes.
in. Good
Yes.
youth pastor or minister comes in. So
Yep.
yes.
Well, you know, on the way down here, I stopped to buy my husband a taco, and I said, let me ask this young lady what she thinks. I said, what do you think about what's going on with the fentanyl OD situation? And that little girl said to me, I wrote it down. In fact, it's over here in my scribble. And it said, they need to be having an educated mind, not a stupid mind.
And that's coming from a teenager. Amazing.
That's what that kid said.
That's good.
Yeah, this working kid was saying that. You know, be educated mind.
So we
In
have
other
to
words,
educate.
everything you all are talking about is teach our young generation. Because it's here now. The generation is here now. They are the future. You know, I remember a few years ago they used to say, oh, the future is almost here. Or the future is no, honey, the future is here.
You're living it.
Yeah, yeah. And it's been a wonderful conversation to talk about this. You know, and I believe I will support Sammy's Law 1444.
Oh, yes, I support it.
I support it, absolutely. Because you already do it without the
I
computer.
do it already. My husband preaches it every week.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
we as parents, it's our responsibility
That's right.
to check behind our children, check their
Yes.
phones, check their computers, check who they're texting,
Right.
check their
Right.
friends, check their backpacks.
That's right.
You know what?
Yeah, definitely the backpacks.
Yeah,
I tell my,
there's
my
no
daughter all the
closed
time,
doors.
have you checked his backpack lately?
Yes.
Girl, yes.
Their bedrooms.
That's right.
Bedrooms.
And you're right, Regina. Let's check the history. Let's
That's
let's
right.
share with
Connect
them.
the dots.
Prepared.
Right,
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
and it's very important to do that. It's very important. You got a thought before we close?
No, I think it's a wonderful topic. We just have to be prepared, know these children. I mean, it's there. We can't change everything, you know, it's already there. All we can do is educate, like we've been talking about. Just educate the parents
Yes.
on how to look for the signs and
That's
symptoms.
right. That's
So,
right.
Yes, yes, and be there for those kids when they need someone to talk
Absolutely.
to. Definitely be there and try to guide them.
And pray.
Right. And you know, again, I'm going to say, let's go back to the school system. Let's give them a class, some type of class,
Yes.
so that they can open up and if at least open the door to someone else that they can share something with.
Yep.
It's been fun, ladies.
Great.
Thank you.
Yes,
I
it
missed
has.
you.
Oh, miss you
Thank
too.
you.
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. And Sister Regina, thank you so much for being
Welcome.
here.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
And Kimberly, I love working with you too. Yes, yes.
It's been a pleasure.
It's been great working
Yes,
with
it
the
has.
ladies today. And you know, I do want you to think about it. You know, if you have someone whose backpack you got to check, girl, you go for it. Anyway, I'm Erlinda Patterson, and I want to thank you for being part of Essence Table Talk, the television program that opens the door to our minds. Take care. Until next time.